Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to do a quick little episode here on how I ballast my track and what I use to ballast it with. And I do not buy regular ballast that you can buy for model trains because that stuff's kind of expensive. So I'm going to show you what I done like right here for the cheap and very inexpensive method that I use, and I think it looks okay. Some of the purists out there may think it's, not of the right scale, but again, I'm acting like I'm 10 years old and we are building our first model train set in the basement. So let me get this camera kind of situated. We'll talk about this for a minute. So all this rock that you see here on the sides of the track in the street, that's all already glued down. And all I did was use some thinned out Elmer's glue and water and a little pipette, and just squeezed a lot on there, let it dry for a couple of days. And it's glued down, not going nowhere. And what this is floor dry. I know I'm zoomed in on that and it looks kind of huge, but I bought a 5-pound bag of floor dry at my local auto supply store a couple of years ago in preparation for this. And believe it or not, the gray ballast here that I have is from that 5-pound bag. Now, what I do with it is I run it through different sifters that I have, that I've bought at, the dollar store or whatever. And the finest that I get, I will take all of that and start mixing in some of this granite gray apple barrel water-based paint. I'll thin it down a ton and I'll start mixing it in and just taking my hand and mixing it all up, mixing it up, and do that for, I don't know, 20 minutes, half hour or so, and you have your ballast. It's quick, it's easy, and I gotta find my spoon. What do I just do with it? There it is. So when I lay my ballast, I always put a trickle of full strength Elmer's on there, and take a spoon, just kind of run it in there, pile it up on that mound of Elmer's glue. And I like to use one of these long-handled Sunday spoons because it helps me reach in these hard to reach places that I tend to work myself into. It's like when I'm building a model, I always wind up working myself into a so-called corner that I have to fight my way out against. And just lay that down. All the way down. And the reason I glue the side rock in place first is because I do not glue this ballast down. And when you go to do the center of the track, you just want to kind of do it real light, because you don't want a huge buildup. You don't want it to cover your ties or anything like that. I did get a drop of Elmer's glue in the center there, but okay. Now, what did I do with my brush? I got a brush laying around here somewhere. Here we go. Now to spread this out, I just like to use a flat-tipped, wide bristle, cheap brush that I think I bought this at Hobby Lobby or something, in a pack of 10 or 12 different ones, because it covers just about the entire width of the railroad tie from side to side. So I'll start right here, and I'll just start brushing it off of the ties and follow the rail. In laying ballast, I mean, it's there's a million videos on YouTube. I am no expert at all. I don't claim to be. I'm just showing you guys what works good for me, what I like. And then once I get that off of the ties, the best I can anyway, I'll start working the middle down a little bit, and I will cock my brush a little bit and just start very gently sweeping those little gravels into the next open area between the ties that doesn't have any. You keep going along, working them down, and eventually you get them. And then some of the areas that are a little sparse, a little thin, I just do it with my fingers, so I don't overdo it, and I don't have a huge pile to clean up when I'm done. So we just work this in real gently. And the reason why I like to do my ballast like this is because, I mean, it's basically, again, something that I made. Just like my models, when I make my fire truck models, there's, you know, some kits involved, but for the most part, they're just all creations that I make out of my mind. And this was something I came up with years ago when I was into model railroading back in my 20s. And we used to use this floor dry at work, and I started looking at it and I thought, man, that stuff would make great ballast, you know, if I could figure out how to scale it down a little bit. And then, you know, over the years, I figured out what a sifter is used for. But anyway, once I get it laid out, I'll take that brush and just gently tap that down a little bit. Really not using any pressure. I'm just kind of touching it on there to knock the crown off of that ballast. I know some ballast you'll see out on a real railroad will have a crown on it, but I'm not too big of a fan of that because I have all this other gravel on here. So once we have it all laid down, maybe come back and do another gentle sweep of it. Make sure you get that stuff off of the top of the ties, and especially away from the inside of the rail where the flange will hit. In the ultimate test is I always take a car and run it through to make sure it doesn't come off the track. It's not hitting anything, not bouncing around. And I think that's pretty good right there. So there we have another little section of ballast track. So we've got from the leading edge of the bridge all the way up to this little section right here. And I will start putting in these rocks here in a couple of days, and then I'll get them down the same way. I'll put a bead of Elmer's glue on there. I'll lay these in place. I will sweep them, you know, into a nice straight line. Anything that's mounted up, I will gently tap down, and then I will take the thinned out Elmer's glue and just saturate that. And it is it's almost as hard as concrete. I've got all this done through here. This will this part right here will all be done in green, like grass, and then you know, we'll move on to the next spot. But I think for the most part that that ballast looks pretty good. I like it. I'm happy with it. And like I said, the purist won't agree with me, but it is what it is. It's cheap. It's easy to get. It's a lot of fun to make it yourself. We did get our state police post put up over here earlier today, and we got a couple jail cells in it, and we're just slowly but surely working our way around one little bit at a time. I will probably ballast the other track over here up to the bridge tonight, and we'll call that a day. And then I did start working on trying to add some washes and stuff to the rock work over here. I need to go back tomorrow and start dabbing in some light grays to it and touching some spots with some white. I did get my parking lot down for the Railroad Museum. It's the pins you see in it are little pins I got from my wife years ago. It helps hold the Elmer's glue down. I am working on that crossing right there, and you can see my hillbilly weight there to hold that down. So I'm trying to be very careful, not even though this table is pretty solid. I mean, one little hit on it too hard and it would fall over. That's why I'm not going to run the train around this new ballast, because I got that weight blocking the line over there. But just a quick little how I do it, guys, and like I said, it works for me. I'm happy with it, and model on, I guess. And with that being said, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.